Hi, I'm Dr. Annadale, and in this video I'd like to share with you 6 different types of course goals that I use in designing my own college classes. If you're a teacher, especially a beginning teacher, I hope this will help you to design goals for your own syllabus. And if you're a student, I think it might help you to understand how teachers, especially me, think about the goals that we put on our syllabus and the evaluations that we do of students in our classrooms. So here we go. These 6 types of goals fall into 2 different categories. 3 of them are foundational and 3 of them are advanced. The most important and central foundational goal is understanding. In order to succeed in the course, you have to understand what the course material means. And so many of the assessment tools that I'll design and many of the instructional methods that I'll use are focused on helping you to understand what you are reading, what you are studying in the course. Related to that, a second foundational goal is recall. It's no good for you to understand something in week 2 that you forget and are not able to use in week 10 when you need it, because later parts of the course will build on earlier parts. So some of the goals that I will have for different assignments or different projects in the course will be dedicated to strengthening your recall, ensuring that you are able to remember important course content later when you need it. I'll have examples of all of these types of goals on later slides. The third foundational goal is analysis. This really builds upon understanding. Once you have understood what the content means, you need to analyze it. Analysis is a matter of pulling something to pieces, of getting inside of it and seeing how its internal parts fit together, whether it's parts of an argument, a doctrine, or some larger object that we're studying in the class. So you need to understand first and then analyze to deepen your understanding, to sort of get under the hood, so to speak, of what it is that we're studying in the course. Analysis then will be the gateway to these 3 advanced skills, which I think are independent of each other. I might, in a later part of the course, ask you on the basis of your analysis to synthesize, that is, to create something new. Having pulled the thing to pieces and understood its individual parts, I now ask you to put those parts back together in a new synthesis, to create something new and different, to show me the depth of your understanding and the quality of your analysis. I might also ask you to apply what you have understood and analyzed to a new case, ask you to apply this example or doctrine or theory to a case that we've not previously talked about or looked at in the course already. And finally, the third advanced skill, to evaluate, to be able to come to some kind of normative judgment about the quality or the value of what you have studied. You can't do this until you've gone through a fair deal of understanding and analysis. Evaluation without that foundation is not valuable, but it is important by the end of the course that we're able to say something about the correct value, the true evaluation, and the reasons for that evaluation of the material that we've studied. Now let me give you some specific examples of each. Understanding. Goals related to understanding might begin with a verb like describe, explain, paraphrase, summarize, or give examples of. In my own classes, an example might be, just describe Plato's theory of forms in your own words. If you really know what the theory of forms is, you should be able to relate it back to me in language that does not just parrot what you might have memorized out of the text. That shows me understanding. Recall, this related sort of feedback loop skill related to understanding. Again, goals might begin with list, outline, define, identify, or name. I might ask you on a quiz, what is Plato's definition of justice in the soul? We need it for our analysis in Book 9 of Republic, but the definition was given back in Book 4 of Republic. What was that definition again? This will ensure that you're able to recall and employ these fundamental parts of the course material for later projects. Analyze. Key verbs for goals in the analysis category: compare and contrast, illustrate differences between, classify or describe the logical structure of something. I might ask you to describe the logical structure of Pascal's wager. That is, what assumptions does he employ, what logical moves does he make, what inferences does he draw, with what limits. And finally, analyze. So in my own class, again, on ancient philosophy, I might ask you to explain the difference between Plato's view and Aristotle's view of the role emotions play in human virtue. I'm asking you to explain the difference, to compare and contrast, to show me that you've not just understood what Plato says about emotions and virtue and what Aristotle says about emotions and virtue, but that you've taken each of those apart sufficiently that you can see what parts they have in common and what parts they differ on, crucially. The first of these advanced goals, synthesize. I said this is a matter of putting the parts back together. Verbs for these types of goals might include compose, create, generate, develop, suggest modifications to. I might ask you in my class to create a concrete and original example of a person who knows what virtue is, but who is not actually virtuous. So I'm asking you to create something that has not been seen before, a specific example of a person who fulfills these criteria that we've discussed in talking about the relation between virtue and knowledge. You ought to be able to do that on the basis of a really solid understanding and analysis that you've done previously. Apply. This is another advanced skill. Apply, predict, illustrate, show how, or use. I might ask you for myself to use Aristotle's doctrine of the mean to explain why a person who always tells the truth does not have the virtue of honesty. So if you've analyzed Aristotle's theory sufficiently, you should be able to apply it to this specific case. A person who tells the truth 100% of the time does not have the virtue of honesty, though we might think she does. What is she missing? How, according to Aristotle and his doctrine of the mean, is this person going wrong? That's an application question. And it's one of the advanced skills that I might ask you to demonstrate. And lastly, evaluate, with verbs like defend, critique, judge, justify, or evaluate. I might ask you to evaluate Socrates' argument that it's better to suffer injustice than to commit a single unjust action. And tell me, are you convinced? And give reasons for your judgment. We have to give reasons for evaluations, but given that we've done a comprehensive analysis based on our understanding of the material, that should be relatively easy. These advanced skills will allow you to show the quality of your grasp of the material at a fundamental level and your ability to use it effectively at an advanced level. So to go back to the chart again, these are the 3 types of course goals that I use in my different classes. That's all for this video. If you've enjoyed it, I hope you will click like and subscribe, and leave me a comment below about other kinds of video, maybe related to pedagogy or course goals, that you'd like to see on this channel. Thanks for watching today. Goodbye.